Hello everybody and welcome to Primetime Esports. I'm HorizonCasts and this is NRG Stadium. We are just outside the venue that will play host to our matchup this weekend between EG and Team Liquid. And then of course, one of those two teams will take on 100 Thieves in the Grand Finals matchup. The only thing that is left to decide is which of them it will be. Now obviously we can't go inside the stadium for obvious reasons. That Riot's production crew's in there trying to get everything set up for the grand event that's going to be happening this weekend. And I think a lot on the line for both of these teams in the semifinals matchups, and obviously even more on the line for the finals matchup, so a lot to talk about there. I did want to take a moment to shoot this, even though there's not anything going on right now, just so that way you guys can kind of get a feel for what the venue is going to be like, and then discuss some of the stakes for both these teams, because I think there is a lot on the line for both these teams. There is this habit where we kind of write off spring a little bit too much, and we think, oh well, it's really just going for MSI and everything happens in the summer. But I think for EG, this is an important testing day for them, because come Saturday, they're going to be put up against one of the best teams that the LCS has ever had, arguably the best, depending on how you rate the 4 back-to-back titles that TL had a couple of years ago. And this EG roster has performed. They have continued to deliver despite some of the expectations that maybe they had for them, some of these rookie talents there and some of this North American talent that has started to grow in that organization, and they have proved themselves. They have gotten themselves to a semifinals. It is the first for this organization, so it is a huge feather in their cap. And I think that even despite a potential loss to Team Liquid in a semifinals matchup, I think that they will be happy with the results in this spring matchup. But obviously they want more. Obviously they want to go to finals. They want to have their shot against 100 Thieves to win the whole championship. And I think that they've definitely earned their right. And it's interesting that the discussion going into this matchup against TL is that we haven't written them off. There is a lot to expect for them, and there is a world where EG can beat Team Liquid coming into this semifinals matchup. In fact, some analysts do have them as the favorite in a 3-2 matchup over Team Liquid. Now, obviously, this Team Liquid squad is going to be looking to punch back after their loss against 100 Thieves, a 5-game series that I think most people didn't expect to go that way. I think most people expected it to go 3-0 after Team Liquid had 2 pretty early convincing wins there, and then 100 Thieves managed to fight it back. A little bit of draft help there from Team Liquid, no doubt. But I still think that the expectation's fairly high for that Team Liquid squad, and obviously the onus is on them to prove that they are the more veteran team, they are more experienced, and that they are the more skillful team with the talent that they have on that roster. I think most people's expectation is that they would beat EG, but obviously the conversation and the narrative going into Saturday has shifted, and so I think most people have sort of given EG a very good chance going into this matchup. I think for Jojo Pion and for Danny, both of those players on EG, I think they've definitely proven themselves. They're standout performers, and they have earned their right, to be considered, high-level players within the LCS, even as early as their career is right now. On the side of Team Liquid, we do have questions about, whether or not Bwipo is going to continue to be a weakness for this TL squad. Obviously, he was exploitable in draft. He had a couple picks that didn't go his way, and his performance was, in some ways, a little lackluster in the last 3 games of that matchup against 100 Thieves. So I think some questions about what kind of Bwipo we're going to be getting in the semifinals matchup. Obviously, Santorin will have to do a lot of the legwork for Team Liquid to shore up some of the early game weaknesses that this squad has had. And Bjergsen, as a veteran on that squad, is going to be required to do a lot in terms of heavy lifting and veterancy. Going to be required to give some of these fantastic mid-lane performances and be the sort of leading voice for that squad. Hansama and Core JJ in the bot lane will continue to do everything they can, and I think Hansama has had some standout performances in the entirety of this season as well, not just in playoffs either. We have seen him sort of shine, but throughout the regular season he's been incredibly consistent, and I think that there's a lot to expect from them, but EG obviously will be giving it everything they've got from top to bot. So I'm very interested to see how that matchup will go on Saturday. I think it's very difficult to predict. The other thing I want to talk about is this 100 Thieves squad, because one of the other things that was brought up at the end of the win against TL was that they were given some help in the draft. TL seemingly did not draft that smart, and the execution of the comps that they had was a lot more difficult, and in the end they didn't perform on them in the last 3 games. And the other thing is too, is some of the sentiment around 100 Thieves is that if 100 Thieves did win, there are some people that would like to believe that that really the overall skill level of the LCS and really the competitive integrity of the league is not as strong if a squad like 100 Thieves, who has managed to get away with quite a bit in some of the games, made some big mistakes and not been punished for them, that if the squad does win, that perhaps this is a sign that the LCS maybe is not in the greatest state. I tend to feel otherwise. I feel that 100 Thieves have earned their right to be in the finals. They're an incredibly aggressive squad with a very forward play style. They like to play as a 5-man squad. They like to play around the map. They have fantastic players in every single role, and I think that they have earned the right to say that they got into the finals off their own merit and not off of really too much help from Team Liquid. Obviously, getting a bad draft going in your favor for your enemy team, helps a lot, but it takes two to play ball. And 100 Thieves have definitely delivered where they needed to, and they have done the work. And so now it will be up to them to defend themselves in that finals matchup, regardless of whether or not it's Team Liquid or EG. So I think a lot to look forward to in that matchup. I'm hoping for best of fives. I think largely everybody is, both for semifinals and finals. I think it would be slightly disappointing to see a 3-0 one way or the other for either three of these teams. I think there's a lot to be enjoyed in the way that these teams play, and obviously any kind of explosive matchup that leads to 5 games is going to be, in the end result, a great series. So I think that fans can expect a full best of 5 series, and I think that they should be excited. I think you guys should be excited for it, and it's what you should expect, and hopefully that's what we get. 3-0 series are obviously a different kind of story whenever you see a team run away with a series, but I think best of 5. Getting that full 5-game series is always a little bit more satisfying, and especially for the people that are going to be here live, that do want to see, that money that they spent on the ticket to go the full distance. So I think 5 games is what we should hope to get, and I'm personally very excited to get into the venue and see exactly what it will be. This is the first event in 2 years that Riot will have had. So big expectations for this event to do well. The event is mostly sold out. It is not completely sold out, but very, very close. And considering the state in which things are right now here in North America, and the fact that we have a lot going on this year with Worlds being in North America, summer's not even decided yet. A lot of people will go to those events. They'll save for that. So the fact that this event is practically sold out is pretty good. So I'm very excited to see the crowds here. I'm very excited to hear the roar again, at a live event. The last event that we had was in Detroit in 2019, and ever since then, it's been, mum's the word. So I'm sure that the casters and the teams will be excited to be in front of a crowd. And I think that is another testing point for, some of these teams is, this Team Liquid squad largely, most of their players have played in front of large crowds. They have played in big stages and at big events. And this 100 Thieves squad and EG, they have not. Their players have not been in front of a massive crowd like that, where they've had to experience the pressure and the sound and just the overall vibration of thousands of people just cheering at everything you do or everything that goes against you. So that will be a mental, a mental challenge for all of these teams, especially including Team Liquid. They're not exempt from that, but I think a mental challenge for all of them. So excited to see exactly how they do. And overall, just excited for this weekend. A lot to be determined here, a lot of questions to be answered, and an MSI ticket to be booked. And that's a discussion that we haven't had yet, and I'm sure we'll see a little bit more of that as the weekend continues. We start to see, the other teams continue qualifying for MSI. We start to see what's going to happen with the LPO, and I think overall just start to see how the winning team here in the end of this weekend will handle that pressure going into MSI. So that's going to do it for me here out in front of the NRG Stadium. I want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank you all for watching, and I appreciate you guys, and we will see you next time. So cheers.